How is everybody doing today? In this video, we are going to take quite a bit because not only are we going to look at Global's banner order, we're also going to look at JP's and all the banners that we are not only skipping, but also some of the characters that are very important that you might want to look forward to. We're going to look over some of the units kits. We're going to start looking at what we should expect from these banners, because yes, there are going to be some pretty important units for some teams coming up very soon, because as you may know, a lot of these teams are built around an element, and some of these characters are going to be very important when it comes to support for that element or just being a really strong attacker for that element. So let's go ahead and start talking about the global banner order that we have currently, that we've had so far, and then we're going to compare it to JP so I can show you some of the missing banners that we have. Of course, as we know, we've recently gotten Yotsuha and Mua, and this banner specifically came right before Suit Ruka and Yuki, and then after Suit Ruka and Yuki, we are going to be getting the Kanzaki and Mari banner, and then from there it's all question marks. But looking at JP's banner order, we are currently missing two banners, which I find is pretty weird or pretty funny in all honesty. It's not like they forgot. They definitely know what they're doing, because we are speeding up how the patches are, because I think what their general game plan is in the future potentially is to have this version and JP sync, but we have years of content in front of us, so I have no idea how that's going to work. But looking at the JP order for all the banners that we have currently, we first get Suit Ruka and Yuki, and this isn't saying this was the first banner. No, this was actually their first anniversary banner, us getting it in a few months, so we're clearly moving at a really fast pace. I think up to 2 years of content was started on day one for global, for Heaven Burns Red, so this was their first anniversary. After their first anniversary, which was Suit Ruka and Yuki, we ended up getting the Angel Beats banner, which I think is pretty interesting as well. So I do think Angel Beats is going to come out either on the half anniversary, and if they really want to be evil, they could wait till the anniversary, which these units would be a little bit outdated compared to whatever units that we currently have. But they do have updated versions as well with the second Angel Beats banner, so there's a lot of question marks in the air for that. But we had Suruka and Yuki first, and then they got Angel Beats. After Angel Beats, they actually got Yotsuha and Mua after these suits and Angel Beats. So that means we're missing Angel Beats, of course, because everybody's been waiting for Angel Beats. And then after Yotsuha and Mua, we have another missing banner, because now we have the Chie and Fubuki banner. Now we are going to talk about some of these units that are upcoming, and also a little bit of a quick rundown on the units that we already have. That way I can tell you if you should be pulling for these guys, if you're interested in that element or interested in those characters. That way we know which characters are important, which ones are a little bit more of a skip, and which banners to focus on in the future. So we are currently missing not only Angel Beats, but we're also missing Fubuki and Chie, because these banners, or this banner specifically, came out before Mari and Kanzaki. So we are missing two banners at the current moment. This is something that I'm pretty sure is going to be showcased or addressed with the part 2 of the celebration. Currently we are in part 1 with Mari and Kanzaki, but I kind of don't see why they went ahead and did this as part 1 when they could have just done the Chie and Fubuki. Either they're doing two things: either they just wanted to get all of the crystals as fast as possible to be spent, so that way you have to go ahead and spend for whatever banner comes after Kanzaki and Mari, because if we're summoning on Suruka Yuki, and Kanzaki is currently one of the best ice DPS for a long time in the game, that kind of puts some pressure to spend on the game. And if we are using a Chie and Fubuki banner where these two aren't 100% needed in your game, in your teams, then that gives you time to save. So I'm assuming that's what they're trying to do, and then part 2 they might throw this down as a filler banner. We have no idea how that's going to work out, but let's go ahead and start talking about some of these units and how you want to start investing into your account when looking at the banner order that we have, and also some of the future banners that we are looking at, which of course the fire debuffer for Megumi, and then Aoi being the single target thunder attacker that we've been talking about for quite some time with an SS Blaster Byakko. Let's go ahead and start with the suits real quick, because we do have them currently in the game. We know about Yotsuha and Mua. They're both the fire, or not both. Yotsuha is the premier fire buffer. If you ended up getting her, that's going to be absolutely amazing for whenever you have a fire DPS. And then Mua is just the overall really great sustain with having the Mind's Eye buff, which is super strong on weakness. So these guys, of course, we already know what they do. We know how strong they are. But to go back to Yuki and Ruka, These two characters, of course, as I've said before, including someone like Thunder Aoi, these are your foundational blocks for your Thunder team, because these will be your attackers for quite some time until we get the future ones like the Waki, the Maria, all these other guys in the future. If you want a single target DPS, whether you like Ruka or Aoi, these are your choices for your Thunder attacker for a single target. Aoi is going to be better, especially if you have Aoi SS1, and I do recommend getting Aoi SS2 if you already have her first SS, because it just makes her so much stronger, and you get the dual benefit of having a defender plus having a very, very strong single target attacker, because she does use totems as a damage modifier, which Ruka does not. And then not only that, we also have the Yuki as well, being a Thunder AoE unit. So depending on how you want to look at it, whether you want the most value for your summons when pulling for Ruka and Yuki, having two potential DPSs to bring out for Thunder, or you're waiting for Aoi where she's the better single target Thunder attacker, these are going to be your slots for the DPS or the attacker of the Thunder team. We don't have any support coming at the current moment that is close to the banners that should be coming out soon. So right now we're just looking at the attacker. We're looking more of support of ice and also fire than we are looking for anything else at the current moment. After looking at Ruka and Yuki and Aoi, those are your Thunder attackers, the characters you're going to want to use damage with those characters. We're going to start looking at the Angel Beads banner. Now the Angel Beads banner is pretty interesting, because with the Angel Beads banner, we're supposed to be getting this SS for free, if I'm not wrong, and this is a blaster SS, but she is used as a DPS, and of course it's going to pair seemingly well with a lot of the fire units that we currently have in the game, like Tojo, like Yotsuha, like Inori. There's a lot of really great characters that are currently in the game that allow you, Isuzu, not Inori, Isuzu, that allow you to buff damage like crazy for the fire element. I think is one of our best teams at the current moment, just because of the pure support that we have currently in the game. But the main prize is of course the Kanade that's only available on the banner, and she has quite a bit of stuff on her kit, I'm not gonna lie. Not only does she have a Self Mind's Eye, which I think is very strong, an attacker that's able to buff themselves, that way they don't waste any buffs, but they also allow you to get that 10% light attack up, which is really great as well. And then not only that, she also gives herself an attack up for light and then does her exclusive skills. So she's getting a lot of specific light buffs, and being able to give yourself an element buff is super duper strong, because looking at it, you can give yourself the light attack buff, then you get an attack buff, then crit rate, then crit damage, then multi-hit, and then you get Mind's Eye. There's just so many different buffs that you can stack on top now that you're buffing your own self with a unique buff that no one else can give. So this is a really great character and will continue to be really great for quite some time. Of course, light isn't the strongest of elements that are currently in the game, but it definitely can stack up if you are building the right team for it. And then after Angel Beats, as I said, Yotsuha and Mua, really great characters. We know what they do. And then Fubuki and Chie, which are two different characters that are currently skipped at the moment. Fubuki is going to be a more dark style debuffer, with giving a fragile, which is really nice, a defense down, which is also really nice, and then a status or enfeeble down, which is actually pretty cool to see. Now it does say 2 turns here, but I did read that this was because of a buff that she ended up getting from Tower, if I'm not wrong. So this is actually a 1 turn fragile and a 1 turn defense down, which is actually very interesting, plus giving a enfeeble as well to the enemies. This actually is pretty nice, especially being housed in one unit, because usually you would have to separate these into 2 different units, one doing the fragile, one doing the defense down. And then another thing is that you would also have to look at, you would have to use overdrive to get this off of one unit. So having this all in one is really, really cool. And she also houses a dark defense down too, so any dark unit like Inori or some of these dark attackers that we currently have in the game would get a nice buff from having this Fubuki. And then Chie is just an attacker that is going to be centered around getting hit, of course, as well as Aoi, but she's nowhere near as strong as Aoi, sadly. She does have a way to give herself a hit count buff from her other S's, if I'm not wrong, which is super strong for it and allows her to do some damage. But of course, she's not an MVP unit. Realistically, this Chie and Fubuki banner are going to be more of a filler banner, just because they don't house any strong main teams that you're going to be using when it comes to dark, when it comes to using Chia specifically for DPS, because we have a lot more surrounding here that are just going to basically outshine her for quite some time, just because either some teams have more support or the other characters that are doing attack are doing more damage. That's how it is for Chia and Fubuki. The next characters, of course, are ones that are currently coming out, which are Mari and Kanzaki. Now, this is the banner where Ruka, Yuki, and Aoi are your Thunder units. Those are the characters you want to go ahead and pull if you want to start working on Thunder, especially Aoi, which is going to be the farthest of the banners to look at, because she will be the strongest one with having totems and of course using all those generalized skills that I talked about a million times in every single video. But for Ice, if you want to start building towards Ice, which Kanzaki is a very, very great unit, and she has so many different benefits to her playstyle because of all of these skills that you can use on top of her. But of course, having Mari, this also shows that you're going to be getting that huge amount of buffs that you will be getting off of your first time use. And as you may know from the video I posted about these characters before, the second time you use this character, you will be getting a watered down version of this buff, but the first initial buff is really nice. And of course, you want to also tackle this on with putting Mari SS1 skill, which is the ice feel, to help out someone like Kanzaki. So this will technically be a banner if you want to start building up an ice team. Now Kanzaki specifically, this is where she gets a little insane, because Kanzaki, she has an S exchange skill where she's able to give herself multi-hit. Not only that, she has an ice attack up buff as well to herself, and the same thing we talked about with Kanade, she can give herself ice attack buff, crit rate, crit damage, mind's eye. There's just so many different buffs that she can get because she can give herself her own element boost, which is a super strong thing to have. And not only that, she also has this EX skill that's going to hit massively hard with the multi-hit buffs that she's going to give to herself, with the ice attack buff that she's going to give to herself, and all the other buffers that are currently in the game. So if you want to start working towards ice, and also one of the supports that will be coming out the fastest will be an ice unit. So if you want to build one of the strongest teams currently at the moment, Kanzaki will actually be a really good pull to bring out. Now remember, this is going to be a free daily recruitment banner, so you really want to make sure, if you want to summon on this banner, wait till the very last day. Wait till you single all of your days, see if you can catch one of these guys for free, and then you can make your decision if you want to pull. I don't want to see someone in a situation where they pulled on the banner, they got Mari and Kanzaki, which is good. If you love those characters, that's really great, congratulations, but you could have gotten them from singles. Imagine that. That would kind of suck. So hopefully everyone has patience to wait in terms of doing the singles every day and see if they can grab one of them, which would be really cool. I don't think I'm gonna summon on their day one for their banner. I don't think, just because I want to wait for the actual singles to get done so that I can see if I can get any of them for free, which would be kind of cool. So that's pretty much going to be it for the ice team. And then lastly, the other units that will be of note, we do have a blaster here for Satomi, which is pretty cool. She is going to be a dark blaster if I'm not wrong, and other than that, there's not really anything crazy. She can give herself a dark attack up, but it does get immediately used because she does do an attack, so nothing really crazy here. But what is very strong is this debuffer, which is for Megumi. Now the reason why this is super strong is because of her EX skill being not only a zone for 8 turns for fire, which is going to be a really nice damage dealer, but not only that, or a really nice damage buff for your damage dealer, but she also has a 2-turn fire defense down, which is super freaking strong when you're stacking up not only this plus the defense down plus a fragile, which just explodes with damage. So this is going to be a major pickup for fire teams if you are interested in working on fire, which fire is by far one of the strongest teams in the game, and this Megumi is almost priceless and definitely a pull if you are going to be building towards that team. Really strong character with being able to give a fire zone plus that 2-turn defense down, which is really good for her. And then of course lastly, we're looking at a blaster Byakko. Other than giving devastation, that's pretty much all they do. And then a 1-turn defense down, which is kind of nice, I guess you could say. And then lastly, the Thunder Aoi that I keep talking about. This is gonna be the strongest Thunder unit. As I said before, Ruka and Yuki will be the best units with Aoi to go ahead and build an attacker with. If you have SS1 Aoi, you go for SS2 Aoi. If you don't have SS1 Aoi, I would recommend going for Ruka Yuki, because you get a little bit more value summoning on that banner, getting 2 new units, rather than going for Byakko and also Aoi when the main target is just Aoi. And of course, you don't unlock Aoi's full potential until you get SS1, but she's still a good unit overall, so she's still a very strong one, and she's still going to do more damage than Ruka and Yuki without SS1 Aoi skill, because she does have the totems onto her character, which is a whole separate damage boost for this specific character. So other than that, that's pretty much it when it comes to all the units coming out and all the banners as well. This was definitely a mouthful of information when it comes to talking about each character. I do think with the banners that we currently have on global, we should be expecting the Chie Fubuki banner maybe after this Kanzaki and Mari banner, and then after that I genuinely don't know what they're doing with Angel Beats. We might end up seeing the actual Megumi banner very, very soon if we aren't getting the Chie and Fubuki banner. And if we do get the Chie and Fubuki banner, this is definitely next if they don't do Angel Beats. And if they don't do Angel Beats again, then we can expect Aoi. So other than that, that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know what y'all guys think about all the banners, all the characters coming out. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one, and peace.